beautiful way to wrap it up on him. Let's move over to Redveil, who I called Redveil for like so many times last episode.
Turn the page.
When do you guys start?
I mean, listen. I didn't take as many notes for him or Nick Rant, but I was just enjoying the music, kind of. I didn't have my. I listened to more at work, so I didn't have my notebook on me to write notes down. But it's all up here, man. I enjoyed him too. I thought Learn This One was an awesome project. We talked about that a lot. PG Baby was fire when we listened to it. It grew on me a lot. Mars, Automatic, and Diving Board are also some of my favorites on that project. Shout out to Overcast on that on Automatic. You produced that song probably. Yeah, fire. But I really enjoyed him too, man. He was similar in a lot. I thought in a lot of ways to. They all kind of play in that similar kind of realm of artistry for hip hop. I thought more so than like you know how we group like the Fredos and Gucci's together. You know what I'm saying? Draco's kind of. I feel like these three kind of group together more than like that.
I feel like they sound a lot different. I don't know if I can.
You mean these three?
These. I didn't review. I actually don't. When you guys talk about Fredo, I honestly have not listened to his music.
So what I mean by that is, I'm not saying they sound alike, but I feel like they're more about bars and rapping versus like the auto-tune type of like just like when we go in my car, I'll play you some like Fredo and Gucci, and you'll know exactly what I'm saying.
It's a feeling.
Like,
it's a vibe.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You mean like they're about lyrics and shit like that versus where the other ones are more about like a vibe and an energy and like what they're putting out.
And you can like fucking both if you want.
We do like both. Yeah, I had a fucking blast listening to Baby Gucci and Top Hill Fredo. So I wasn't shaded at them. We're just saying it's just different styles of music making. But yeah, I think I added almost every song from this project onto my playlist.
From what project?
From Learn to Swim.
Okay. I downloaded the entire album. I texted you when you listened. I was like, "That's a no skip." I was like, "That's a no skip for me." Like, I like to listen to that entire. Like to me, that's an album.
I listen differently. I didn't listen to the album front to back. I listened to all these songs, so that's something that interests me. Maybe I will listen front to back. And
if you listen to it like as a whole album, it's kind of got a concept of learning to swim, being like him coming into adulthood, like and traversing choppy waters. And if you look at the cover, it's like him above water with his nose pinched, like keeping your head above water and learning to swim, learning to become a man. And I don't know, I loved every track off the album. And anything that there's two albums that were before that, it's just he's like 15 and 16, so I'm like, you're gonna hear the growth. I'm like, it's there, but I'm like, the songs aren't perfect. And then you just hear like sonically, like Learn to Swim just takes like a big leap as like he produced like the whole thing himself, and I just think it's.
Yeah,
it just dropped.
It's one of my favorite albums that came out in 2022.
It came out 420. It's 12 songs, 35 minutes. So
that's
right,
what I'm saying.
Right in that sweet spot. And I actually don't mind that too much because it's 12 songs at 35 minutes. So it's about 3 minutes per track on average. You mean you would think so? That's not too bad. You mean like versus the I kind of fits in my little pocket too. So yeah, again, I enjoyed it. You told me about you liked the album first before I listened to it.
Yeah, you're like, I haven't even listened to any of them yet.
Yeah,
you were like, these are the people that are.
Well, you were on it right away,
and I was just like, cool, I'm on it.
I sent you that text like that, like right after we filmed that day.
And I was just like, I just listened to his entire album, no skips.
It was like that Tuesday. I'm like, I haven't listened to anything yet. Like,
he's a permanent resident.
Honestly, did his homework, knows the age and all this shit. Like,
I see. I can't consider myself a hip hop historian. I do my research.
You're your own thing.
I like to do my research. Listen, I just felt like I wanted to be prepared.
Yeah. Well, I can't really be the Bill. I can't really be.
I
can't be.
I
like that.
He is Kenny's a scholar. Honestly,
I can't be the Mill Child anymore though because we and him are the same age. So it's kind of like
I'm technically I'm like
still in it. You're still the middle.
No, I'm older than you by like
by fucking like 8 months.
Yeah, that's the middle child, bro. That's how time works, Troy.
I'm big bro and little bro all once. Cole say.
You know what Cole said.
Yeah. You know what Cole said.
But what'd you think?
I follow this playlist on Spotify. It's called like Mellow Bars, and he gives me something like that. I've always liked that. Of course, I like the old school hard shit, but I have a sweet spot for like a nice, chill, mellow rap beat, and then somebody just kind of just spin bars. Like, it doesn't have to be like the energy. Like, he doesn't have the energy that HD been dope, but he can rap. He has the articulation. So I like that type of avenue of hip hop. He's smooth, nice flow. I haven't listened to that album front to back like you did, but I have to. And I forget, maybe it's like Revolutions or just the whole album, the Niagara album and whatnot. But he gave me some like Snotty Man vibes, who we reviewed here.
Yeah.
Some of the beats were like old MF Doom vibes, or maybe even like Joey Badass type, like some shit
Yo,
like that, which I fuck with heavily.
You had this MF Doom shirt on one of the podcasts.
Malcolm bought it for me.
I was like, yo, I wish I was a medium. I'd beat him up and steal that shirt. I'm like,
definitely my favorite shirts. Yeah, I love Doom.
Yo, so do I. I was
oh
like,
my God.
He died, right?
What?
That was before he died.
Oh yeah, you guys me before. Yeah,
I was like, oh man, that's a dope shirt.
Yeah.
I love that one.
Thank you, Malcolm.
This was last week. I'm like, hey, we're gonna review these people. I just want to give them another listen to. And Sandy and I have completely different tastes.
I know
in
that for a
music.
fact.
Yeah, so I was like, but you might like it. I was like, it's kind
in the
of.
middle.
I was like, because he has. And she was like, "Oh, is this Tyler the Creator?" And I was just like, "Nah," but he has his earlier production. Like, there's a song on there. Like, I don't know if it's his first album, Bittersweet Cry, but there's a song on there. I'm like, this sounds like Tyler the Creator produced it, like the synths he likes to use. But he has a very Earl Sweatshirt type flow.
Exactly.
His voice is very.
Yes.
He's not as expressive as HB Bendope or Nick Grant, but I don't know. I love the way he flows on his, because he's producing himself and he's just flowing over these beats like they're a perfect pairing. And
sometimes
Well said.
sometimes it's like to not overcomplicate things. I just make it simple. Sounds good.
yeah,
It sounds good.
Yeah, that's the difference between us and
Like,
Kenny.
I
Yeah,
mean,
he's
like,
so
you know,
good,
there's a couple songs in there I really like one of the first guys you ever reviewed was Chris Patrick. Right?
Yeah.
And he has a song on there called
Yeah.
I think it's my favorite song off the Niagara album. It's called I don't know if it's my favorite, but the one with Chris Patrick. I can't
Yeah,
think
I
of the
know what
name
you
unless I'm like scrolling on my phone.
Yeah,
Speaking of Chris Patrick, he'll drop X Files. I think
Oh
later
damn.
this month or next month is the album.
Okay.
I'm ready for that actually, because like Chris Patrick's my dude. He's pretty nice.
Yeah, he's fine.
Not
It's
to get,
Clench, I believe.
Yeah, that is, as soon as you said it, I'm like scrolling through my phone, like, what the
That is
hell
a good ass song. I like that album a lot. I might have
downloaded-
listened to that whole one actually.
see that one I kind of just dabbled in. I mean, I really like Learn to Swim a lot, so I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, so now
In my
I gotta do
car,
that one.
it's been playing in my car so much. Like at work, I leave work, I put it on. Like it's just
Because it's that sweet spot. It's something that you could play like on the way to work and on the way back and listen to the whole thing.
well,
Really
I mean,
like
not
it.
35 minutes. It's a 35-minute ride from.
No, I'm saying by the end of the day, you listen.
But if I'm cruising, if I have to do run some errands and quick, yeah,
That's
it's
what I
a
mean.
perfect thing. It does feel like a perfect album to listen to. It. I hate to say that, but like listen to it in your car. But like I don't know, man. I just enjoy riding around listening to that fucking album.
And
man.
there's also some
Like,
artists and some songs that sounds good, and you're like, oh yeah, this is cool. And then other songs that are more like deep, and you're like, damn, I gotta listen to this again. And some are both. Some you could listen and you don't have to pay attention really to the lyrics. You're like, oh, this vibe, this flows.
I
And
feel
then
like-
you pay attention, you're like, holy shit.
I feel like PGBB or like Automatic or songs,
Yeah.
like, you don't have to pay attention. That shit
Yeah.
just got you in
Yeah,
that
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
zone. But if you actually listen to what he's saying, I'm like, oh, he's from 18 years old, is very thoughtful and mature.
Yes, very insightful.
And I was very surprised like that he came out with the album. Like I'm looking at Niagara and I'm like, I downloaded each track or album, I downloaded more and more of it, and then learned this when I downloaded. But he doesn't have a whole lot of other music that I found other than those three albums.
I think that you mentioned it, about being 18 and shit. Like it always makes me like laugh. I think about myself at 18. I'm like, there's no fucking way I would be able to make like something like this. Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't be like.
It's crazy.
I was so not like mentally there at 18, so it's like crazy to me that these kids are making these albums. I don't call them kids, like grown men now, but like making these projects that
Young adults.
yeah, it's fucking crazy to me. Because even when you think back on something like IDR or excuse me, Calvin, just when we talked to him, how like mature and like he knew who he was at like
Yeah.
19 years old, like already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's people still searching to find out who they
Their
are.
whole life.
And they're forever. And he knew exactly he's in love. He loves his woman. He loves God. He wants to be focused, be a better man. And like at 19, you know all that, right? That's fucking.
Yeah.
Good
And
for
I'm
you,
not saying
man.
I'm old as hell. I mean, the whole generation's oh man, this new generation's fucked. And a lot of people are stupid, right? But then you meet some kids like I don't know, Channing even, or people that are young, early teenagers and whatnot. And you're like, oh, they have a good head on their shoulders.
You're right. And when I met people like you, I'm like, I have no hope for this fucking generation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then I meet people like Malcolm and Channing.
Yeah,
and these artists, I'm like,
yeah,
oh, man,
you guys should carry
they're all-
society.
They're all right.
One thing I've realized is that like people that are like, oh, this generation is stupid. No, I talk to adults adults are stupid.
Yeah.
Like there's like yo, she's your older. I know some dumbass adults who haven't like
Stuck in
matured.
their
Like,
ways.
yeah, I'm like,
There's dumb people in every generation.
yeah.
So like,
I'm like,
that's-
this is, I can't.
and unfortunately, I think some of these artists who are coming up, they get wrapped in with. You hear all my new art, people are like, oh, it must be one of those mumble rappers who just
Yeah.
blah 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 blah. Like you know what I mean, like, and I was one of those people before this journey started.
Old head.
Yeah, right. I was like, I don't hear anybody new. Fuck that shit. Like we rap about fucking like crying in the bedroom. Like you're 16. What you said about? You mean like what do you know?
Yo, listen to 1985 by J. Cole.
Basically, that was my mindset.
Yeah.
Basically, which I mean, that song's not really dissing. That song is actually not dissing. He's actually trying to put them on game. Like if you listen to the lyrics of the song, it's the most light dissing of all time.
I don't want to turn the digression into J. Cole, so we're back to where you were.
But no, off of that, like you mean like that would have been my mindset of like you know what I'm saying like, fuck, what do you know? You mean, but then as I got into this journey over the past almost 6 months now and 10 episodes and however many artists, like oh yeah, I'm starting to realize they have a lot more to say than I probably originally thought. They're a lot more talented than I probably originally thought, and this opened me out to more music than I probably ever would have been without this. Probably. Like, if we didn't do this, I'd just be listening to, like, fucking 2014 Forest Hill Drives again. I mean,
Yeah.
for the zillionth time, front the fucking back. I mean,
And the best feeling is that Malcolm's putting us onto these artists, and I'm listening to them. So my Spotify algorithm has changed,
It's changed,
drastically.
yeah.
So I'm hearing new music that he hasn't even showed me, and I'm like, "Fuck!" That's the best feelings when I find a song I haven't heard before, and I'm like,
I think my favorite thing of all time was when I got into Kamikaze, and I was like, yo, Kamikaze. He's like, yo, stop. We're covered. I'm like, too late. I'm over here humming shit. He had a Young Cuddy type of vibe, and I was just like fucking going crazy.
You ever try to put somebody onto some music and then like somebody like, I've been bumping this shit, and they're like, that shit is
Yeah.
lame. I be feeling the type of way. I'm
Yeah,
like,
like,
what the fuck is
fuck
wrong
you.
with you, bro? We can't be friends anymore. I'm like,
yeah. Or yo, put this on aux and bump it in the car, and like 30 seconds later they skip it. I'm like, fuck you.
I be feeling the type of way, yo.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know, because I've got my people. I'm like, I stand for. As he stands for like J. Cole, I'm gonna stand for like.
Yeah.
Like he mentioned earlier, I love Run the Jewels.
Yeah.
I love JPEG Mafia. And I'm like, yeah, turn this shit up. Like, skip, like halfway down. I'm like, the best part was coming
Yeah.
up in like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I mean, for the most part, I think if I'm riding someone's car, I'll let them play what the fuck they want to play.
You gotta read the room, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I just can't do like techno shit. Like remember, like if I remember with Andrew's like
His
oonsing-
beeps and boops?
He just oonsing for the fucking. I'm like, yo, dude.
I can fuck with it.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is.
like, can we get off this oonsing for a little bit? Can we go somewhere else?
Like Drake's new album, that was a lot of
That was a lot of songs. There's two songs on the album that I fucking
The
like,
very last one.
which is not anything like the rest of the album, and Sticky. I don't know what it is about that song, Sticky. You know, Sticky against.
The album. I'm not gonna. This is a digression into
But-
what we were talking about Redveil, but that album was whack.
I'll give him props for this for trying something new. Anyways,
Yeah.
but yeah, so Redveil. Final thoughts on Redveil.
I will say a couple songs that Troy likes to name every song, but 5500 featuring Geo. I like Wait. I like Better. I like Pigeon Man a lot for some reason. Revolutions. But you know that's just me naming a few. But I have to listen to the whole swimming album.
Just a few.
Just a few. You know, a little sprinkle in there. I'm not gonna name every 24 songs.
Yeah, I like to get the full fucking album. Learn to swim, but together, like I said, Mars is
It's
one
not
of my
that
favorite.
long, man.
Automatic,
35 minutes.
No,
It's easy.
it's a very
Um,
easy listen.
Better, PG Baby, Diving Board, New. I mean,
I
they're all
love Better
fucking,
and PG. They had those are
like-
two of the singles he's released.
Yeah.
Videos for them you can watch.
He has a nice voice. Like he can, you know,
Yeah.
like, sing or whatever you
Yep.
call it, melodies, shit like that. Like
And
that.
he's not like as like lyrical. I mean, he's
Yeah.
still a lyricist, like, but he's not like
yeah.
as like HB Bendop and Nick Grant, where like bars is like the main kind of focus for Nick
Mhm.
Grant. I'm like him. It's just the whole song. Like he's got great chord. Jesus Christ, chord progression, and just like I love his samples he uses. Like he's his production style is good.
I do like to. I didn't know he produced it at all. So that's
he's
cool.
got like old soul samples. Like you'll hear like he's even got like a one on Niagara called like Grass, which is
yeah.
a sample of like and Curtis. No, it's an Alicia Keys song called "You Don't Know My Name." I wish I could sing. I can't. I'll try.
Better than us. That's cool though. I didn't know that. See, it's a sample, all that shit. I don't fucking know.
Do your research.
I know. I know.
But no, I really like it. And I would recommend it to anybody who would